the greatest challenge that Somaliland faced was lack of recognition, because that was the key for everything else. That was the key for the isolation we faced. That was the key for the financial problems we faced, because we did not have access to an international financial institutions like the World Bank and International Monetary Fund and the African Development Bank, among other things for our development. Like I mentioned earlier, we could not even get a vaccine during the COVID. Yes, we face also travel problems, because our people, because we are not recognized yet, we cannot travel with our passport. Only we can travel to a very limited countries. I can remember Siham was one of the students who got a scholarship to the United States, and I remember the challenge that she and her colleagues faced when they were coming to the United States because of the lack of recognition of Somaliland. But today we have broken that great barrier, which is recognition, and with that, everything else will be actually easy, because investment will come. More partners of Somaliland will be encouraged. We are a country that value partnership. I just remembering what Dr. Greg said earlier. If I was writing today the book that was called "How Europe Underdeveloped Africa," by Walter Rodney, if I was writing today, I would have said how aid underdeveloped Africa. And Somaliland is a country that did not rely on aid. Actually, there was a book written about Somaliland that's called "When There Was No Aid." So partnership will come. Companies will be encouraged. You cannot imagine how many companies and institutions now contact me after the recognition of Israel here and want to go and explore Somaliland. So it will be a little more patience. We have been patient for over 35 years. A little more patience, and we will reach where we want to reach. Let me answer that quickly. The 1960 union of between Somaliland and Somalia. By the way, the word Somalia is a popular name that never existed in a legal document. It was Somali Republic when the two sides merged, and that was never ratified. And it's legally documented that was never ratified by the Somali Republic, the union that was created. And a good example that you can find that, and I mentioned that several times before, is one in late 1960, the Somaliland military officers wanted to restore Somaliland sovereignty and independence at that time, like we did now, and they failed, and they were court-martialed and put on military trial in Mogadishu. The British lawyer that was hired to defend them, they were accused of national treason because they were against the union of the country. Okay, and they were kind of dismantling the union, so that was a national treason. He actually proved that they did not commit national treason because there was no union legally. There was no binding union, and the government that time accepted the rule, and that's a proof that there was no legal union between the two sides. And there was no legal union, and that was never ratified, to restore our independence and sovereignty again. It's just natural. We have a very, very strong legal argument, but I want to emphasize another thing. In today's world, yes, in an ideal world, interests follow the law, but in today's world, it's actually the interests that precede the law. So if you look at the world today, it's the interest that leads everything. So the national interest of any country actually comes before the law. So Somaliland recognition is diplomatic, and it will be based on diplomatic interest and international interest. So diplomacy is a political issue, then a legal issue, actually, as happened in many other parts of the world. Yes, there were legal divorce in some countries like Eritrea and Ethiopia. in Bangladesh and Pakistan, there was never legal divorce because Bangladesh was never a separate entity anyway. Thank you very much, Omar. Yeah, and that's a very, very great question. Yes, we have to have people-to-people relationship all the time. Many Israelis will be coming to Somaliland, as you have seen even recently, and many more will be coming, like think tanks and business people, and probably cultural people also. And here, for example, in Europe and the United States, let me talk about the United States. We have already started reaching out. And soon you will see some activities and events, organized between, the Jewish and Somaliland American communities here in the United States. And wherever you are, please reach out to the Israeli communities wherever you are. The gentleman first for the support of the people, Eritrean people who support Somaliland. We are very thankful to them. We supported the Eritrean people for a long time during their struggle. And I think we owe them that. So thank you very much for that. Yes, we reach out to Africa. And like Dr. Greg said, diplomacy has many faces. So we do all the time. Business reach out, cultural reach out, people-to-people reach out, and official reach out. All of them at the same time we do. All neighboring countries, we have very good and meaningful relations with them. Some African countries have diplomatic representatives in Somaliland, in Hargeisa. So we do our part, and the rest of the part actually depends on the African governments. It's not always about international law. International law is actually, like I said, applied selectively. So we will continue.
Kamaran Chegi Bangiga, oo la jaar dahabalaas. U kaydso lacagtaada mar kasta iyo meel kasta. Ku dhex isticmaal adeegyada Somtel iyo iDahab. Ku xidha akoonkaaga bangiga oo ka dhex maamulo lacagtaada. U soo wareegoo la jaanqaad dunida casriga oo ku maamulo abka dahabalaas nolol maalmeedkaaga maaliyadeed. Hadda kala soo deg App Store iyo Play Store abka dahabalaas.